movements. I've been drawn to spiritual lessons of poems and novels, especially the sizzling insights and the buzzing beatitudes of the writers and thinkers known as the Beat Generation. On the slide, we've got two of the most famous people of that era that I will speak of much this evening. On your left is Neil Cassidy, and on the right, Jack Kerouac. Many writers have remarked that literary movements themselves are very important. It's sort of the magic of community, the call to collaboration. And the Beats were deeply, you can just leave it on there, that slide, Dory, for a while now. The Beats were deeply influential on our popular imagination, the way that great groups are, in a properly mythic manner. I think of mythic groups: Robin Hood and his merry men, King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, Jesus and his 12 disciples. Tonight, what I'm going to try to share with you, I'm indebted to a recent 21st century insight, scholarship, and reflection by an author who's, interestingly, her name is Nancy Grace, not that Nancy Grace. She's from the College of Worcester, and she has a great essay, book-long essay about Kerouac, and she says that his complete works, what is often called the Deleuze legend, comprise a contemporary wisdom literature. Sacred texts that she sees as sympathetically American, broadly Buddhist, and distinctly Christian in nature, embodying, and I'm quoting her here, the voice of the prophet, sage, teacher, seer, expressed as a classical pastiche of sermon, analogy, proverb, aphorism, song, parable, prayer, catechism, and confession, all to create a personal cosmology. And that's the end of the first quote from Nancy M. Grace of Worcester College. I'm not privy to everything that Kerouac's written, but in my recent reading and in tonight's talk, preparing for tonight's talk, I'm drawing mostly from my reading and interpretation of two books: On the Road, one of his earlier works, and one of his later works, Big Sur. In another book that I looked at, it's called The Beat Face of God, The Beat Generation Writers as Spirit Guides. It's by the Reverend Stephen D. Eddington, who is a Unitarian pastor, and he sees the collected Beat works as a sacred literature as well, calling this the gospel of an alternative spirituality and an alternative religion, where spiritual rebels or misfits seek after the life force or the torch of life, occasionally getting too close to the light and burning up and flaming out too soon. Grace and Eddington nail with a deeper eloquence and a precision than I could imagine what I already intuitively knew was already going on with the works of these writers, particularly Jack Kerouac and Allen Ginsberg. It's all about the adventure, the quest, the pilgrimage, seeking after God. With the Beats, with Kerouac and Ginsberg especially, it's always about God, even when they pretend it's not about God. Whether they pretend through non-theistic rants or a preoccupation with what's in one's pants. Their strictly dualistic and more fundamentalist among us might protest. How could it be possibly all about God when it's so obviously all about sin? Even when